When the world stays silent, your dialogue with the universe. Have you ever wondered if the universe ignores you? As if, no matter how fervently you wish and pray, nothing changes. You notice signs, repeat affirmations, visualize, yet doors remain closed. And then that quiet, almost shameful thought creeps in. Has the universe forgotten about me? This is the pain few speak of openly, but many carry within. It's the feeling of emptiness when you're not heard, even when you're screaming, in silence. The despair of trying to align your life with something greater and feeling no response. But what if the universe has been answering all along, just in a language you haven't yet learned to recognize? Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms." Perhaps we aren't speaking to the right entity, in the right language, or about our true desires. Today, you'll discover 5 real, profound, and symbolic ways to connect with the universe and not just make it speak, but make it say yes. First, though, we need to understand why it seems to stay silent. The universe's true reply: a mirror to your soul. The truth is, the universe never says no. It merely reflects your deepest inner reality. You might ask for peace with words, but if fear vibrates deep inside you, it's fear the universe hears. You might wish for love with your lips, but if your unconscious is convinced you don't deserve it, only emptiness and lack will manifest. This is where Jung comes in. He taught us that the unconscious isn't just a warehouse for traumas. It's a living field full of symbols, archetypes, and subtle messages. The universe speaks to you through your unconscious. If you don't decipher this language, the answer will always seem like silence. Imagine the universe is a radio station broadcasting 24 hours a day. Your unconscious is the receiver. If it's tuned to a frequency of scarcity, fear, or self-punishment, the signal of prosperity will never come through clearly. So the first step to getting the universe to say yes isn't external, it's internal. Communication with the universe begins with self-knowledge. Consider right now, what have you been asking the universe for lately? And more importantly, what do you truly believe you deserve? Because the universe doesn't respond to your conscious requests. It reacts to your subconscious conviction. Do you feel worthy of what you're asking for? Are you ready to receive it? Or is there fear hiding behind your desire? If this point resonated with you, give this video a like. By doing so, you're showing the universe and your subconscious that you're saying yes to this path of transformation. If you'd like, comment below, "I am ready to hear the universe." In the following sections, we'll unveil the 5 keys to this connection. The language of clear intention, listening through intuition, the power of synchronicity, dialogue with the shadow, and saying yes through surrender. But remember, this isn't magic, it's inner alchemy, a dance between your true self and the life pulsating outside. Today, you've started a journey where the invisible begins to speak, and not just speak, but respond. Clear intention. Your lighthouse for the universe. The universe doesn't understand scattered words. It reads energy, wholeness, and clarity. That's why the first way to speak with it is to master the art of formulating true intentions. Most people don't truly know what they're asking for. They say they want love, but they're asking for someone to patch up their inner voids. They say they want money, but deep down, they resent those who are rich. They say they want peace, but they harbor internal conflicts. A clear intention isn't just a thought, it's a vibration. Jung said that the psyche is like a mirror. It reflects what's within and projects it outward. So if your intention is born from scarcity, the universe can only reflect more scarcity. There's a simple test. Ask yourself, am I asking for this out of fear or out of love? If the answer is fear, fear of being alone, losing control, not coping, then the request is tainted. But when you ask from a state of presence, from acceptance, from the courage to be yourself with all your feelings, your intention becomes a lighthouse. And the universe always follows the light. You don't need complex formulas, you need presence. When you're about to make a request, breathe deeply, close your eyes, feel what lies behind that desire. Is it a cry for help or a call from your soul? Do you want something that heals or merely something to distract from pain? Be honest. The universe responds better to truth than to perfection. Imagine your mind is a lake. If it's murky, full of chaotic thoughts, repressed emotions, and contradictory desires, you throw a stone, your intention, into it, and the ripples spread without direction. But if the lake is calm, the stone creates clear, strong waves that spread out and touch everything around them. Clear intention arises from emotional self-knowledge. When you know your shadows, your wounds, and your true desires, the message you send to the universe is pure, and the universe understands this. A desire is wanting something to fill a void. An intention is a commitment to live out what you came into this world for. Example, I want a relationship. A wish full of anxiety and insecurity. I am ready to love and be loved with awareness. An intention, an energetic union with life. Jung said, what you resist persists. What you accept transforms. This also applies to how you manifest. If you embrace your pain and still choose to move forward, if you understand that you're still in process but still show up with clarity, you activate the frequency of intention. Ask yourself, do I have the courage to be clear with the universe? Am I ready to accept the consequences of my truth? Or am I still hiding behind desires that seem safe but keep me stuck? Grab a paper and pen and honestly write, I open myself to receive. Add, with clarity and presence, I am ready. Write down what affirms your growth, even with fear. I choose. Write the step you're ready to take. This isn't about magic, it's about vibrational responsibility. Clarity is an act of courage. It's saying, I am here. This is what I want, and I am ready to be the person I need to be to live it. When you do this, the universe listens and begins to move. Sometimes gently, sometimes like an earthquake, but it always responds. In the next part, we'll talk about the second way to communicate with the universe, listening through intuition. Listening through intuition, the soul's soft whisper. You can't hear the answer if you can't quiet your mind and open your heart. The language of the soul doesn't shout, it whispers. Have you noticed that sometimes the universe doesn't answer with words, but with feelings? An anxiety in your chest, goosebumps for no reason, a recurring dream. These are the forms through which life whispers what the mind isn't yet able to understand. The problem is, we're so immersed in external and internal noise that we forget how to listen. We hear fear, anxiety, the mind's critical voice, but we don't hear intuition, and intuition is the language the universe uses most often. Carl Jung called it the intuitive function, the ability to sense the invisible, to recognize patterns before they manifest. Intuition is a direct channel between you and the whole, but it only works when you quiet the inner chaos. How many times have you had the feeling, I knew that was going to happen, or the sense, something told me not to go? We call it coincidence, but Jung called it synchronicity, the magical encounter between the inner and outer worlds. But to notice this encounter, you need to be present. You need to return to your body. You need to trust feelings that have no logic but hold truth. Remember those moments when you thought of someone and they called you, or when something difficult happened and immediately afterward unexpected grace arrived, as if the universe had rearranged everything. This is no accident, it's a response. But it's not an answer in English. It's an answer in symbols, sensations, movements of the soul. And you will only hear it if you are ready to slow down and listen. Listening to the universe is an art. And this art begins when you stop trying to control everything with your mind and start feeling with your heart. The mind wants evidence. Intuition wants you to simply trust. And this is scary because we've been taught to believe only in what can be touched. But the invisible is just as real as the material. Sometimes you will feel a call to change your path, even if outwardly everything seems right. And sometimes you will hear a quiet no when you're about to repeat an old pattern. Listening means choosing to grow, choosing to step out of autopilot and let life guide you, even without a map. Intuition isn't always gentle. Sometimes it screams in the pain you ignore, in recurring scenarios, in feelings that come for no reason. All of this is communication. The universe says, look inside. You want an answer? Be silent, you're waiting for a sign. Open the eyes of your heart and believe. If something vibrates strongly within you, it's no accident. Intuition is the path. From fear to trust. It's not about predicting the future, it's about connecting with your true path, even if it seems illogical. Jung said that intuition is a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, between who you think you are and who you truly are. And when that bridge is open, the universe can cross it and speak to you. But it will only cross if you are ready to listen. Can you recall a moment when something inside you knew the answer even before your mind understood it? Perhaps today is the day to start trusting that inner voice. It's not outside, it's not in others, it's in you, quiet, patient, waiting for you to come home. If this resonated with something inside you, share this video with someone who is stuck in their head and has forgotten the power of feeling. Leave a comment. I choose to listen with my heart, because that choice changes everything. The power of synchronicity. When the invisible reveals itself, sometimes life seems to play tricks on us. You think of something, and it happens. You meet someone by chance, and that person changes your life. You lose an opportunity and soon understand why it had to be that way. You call it coincidence, but deep down, you feel there's something more, something arranged with a precision and meaning that logic can't explain, but the heart recognizes. Jung called it synchronicity, the secret dance between what you feel and what the world reflects, a magical mirror in which the universe responds not with words but with events. There are no coincidences when the soul is awake. Everything you encounter externally is a symbolic answer to what resonates within you, but most people don't notice it. They're so absorbed by haste, control, and rationality that they don't see these little miracles. You want to talk to the universe? Learn to decipher the signs it sends. Synchronicity doesn't come with instructions. It comes as a feeling, as an encounter, as a recurring sign that carries a message. Have you noticed the same phrase appearing from different sources? Or the same animal appearing again and again? Or the same number following you? This is the universe speaking. The only question is, are you listening? Synchronicity is the most subtle answer life can give. It shows that everything is connected, that nothing is separate, that time is not linear, and that your soul knows the way even before you do. But it's not about obsessively interpreting every little detail. It's about opening yourself to the mystery with reverence, not with anxiety. It's about knowing how to feel when something shines differently, when the ordinary becomes symbolic, when the mundane becomes sacred. This requires presence, trust, and sensitivity. Synchronicity doesn't happen to entertain you. It happens to guide you. It points to paths you might not have chosen yourself, but which your soul, deep down, already knew. How many times have you resisted something and it happened anyway? How many times did something go wrong, only to lead you to something much better? That's exactly it. Not failure, but the wisdom of life. The universe says, this is not your way, with love, even if it's painful. Synchronicity often comes disguised as chaos, but then everything falls into place. You just look back and see how every fall, every loss, every encounter, even the most difficult ones, led you to a more authentic place. And when you start to trust this, when you stop fighting the flow and start dancing with it, life becomes easier. You stop asking so much and start observing. You stop trying to control everything and start aligning, because you understand that the universe isn't serving your desires. It's a mirror of your soul. And when the soul is at peace, the world begins to cooperate. Synchronicity is a quiet yes from the universe. It's its way of saying, I am here, I hear you, trust. Have you ever experienced a synchronicity that seemed like an impossible coincidence? If so, tell us about it in the comments. Your story might be an answer for someone else. And if not, perhaps you just need to open the eyes of your heart a little wider. The dialogue with the shadow, where the universe truly meets. Have you ever wondered why, even when you ask the universe for good things, pain comes? You ask for love and rejection arrives. You strive for peace and conflict appears. You ask for clarity and life plunges you into chaos. Seems unfair, right? But what if that's also an answer? What if the universe, with surgical precision, is showing you what still prevents you from receiving what you so desperately want? Carl Jung called this the shadow. All that you have suppressed, rejected, hidden, and which therefore controls your life from behind the scenes. The shadow isn't evil, it's simply what has been forgotten. It's the part of you that feels anger, jealousy, insecurity, envy, fear. But precisely there also lies your strength, your raw truth, your deepest desire to be whole. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what teaches you to become the person you need to be. And often, that requires you to look into the pain, into the wound you've been hiding for years, into the part of yourself that doesn't feel worthy, that's afraid of being abandoned, that sabotages everything when happiness is near. The universe is strict, but full of love. It shows you exactly where the knot is, not to punish you, but so you can untie it. This is what Jung taught most strongly. Healing begins with encountering the shadow. To deny it is to live half-heartedly. To face it is to truly begin living. So, if it feels like the universe is testing you, perhaps it's merely exposing what needs to be integrated so that your yes becomes real. Because how can you accept love if you're still afraid of rejection? How can you accept abundance if deep down you believe money is bad? How can you feel freedom if you're still clinging to the past? The answers live in the shadow, and dialogue with it is an act of courage. It's uncomfortable, but it's liberating. You begin to see that pain isn't a punishment. It's an invitation to grow, to wholeness, to stop tearing yourself between what you show and what you hide. Because deep down, the universe responds most strongly when you are honest with yourself. And being honest doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic. Acknowledge, yes, I'm afraid. Yes, I sabotage myself. Yes, I feel small sometimes. But I still choose to move forward. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to be heard. It wants you to look at it with compassion. When you stop fighting it and start talking to it, true magic happens. You are no longer led by it. You begin to choose with awareness, with presence, with love. And the universe feels that because the vibration of authenticity is one of the strongest in the universe. It listens when you say, I am ready to look at myself. It's at that very moment that it starts saying yes more often. Do you have the courage to look at your shadow? The courage to ask what within you is still blocking the flow of life. If so, you are already on the path to liberation. If this resonated with you, share this video with someone who needs to learn to turn pain into strength, and write in the comments, "I choose to look at my shadow with love." This is a quiet but powerful alliance, saying yes through surrender when you become the flow itself. After you've asked with clarity, listened with your heart, recognized the signs, and embraced your shadow, comes the moment when only surrender remains. And no, this isn't about giving up like a loser. True surrender isn't capitulation, it's trust. It's when you stop controlling the outcome and start living as if the yes is already on its way. You feel in your body that you are in the flow. You know that what will come will be the best, even if it's not what your mind expected. Surrender comes when the ego is tired of fighting and the essence chooses to swim. And it's at this very moment that the universe responds most strongly, because your vibration completely changes. You stop vibrating in lack and begin to radiate wholeness. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop seeking externally and begin to recognize internally. Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." But he also knew that a point is reached where understanding is no longer enough. The mind wants explanations, but the soul wants peace, and peace only comes when you let go. The need to predict, the desire to control everything, the urge to prove yourself, the constant guarding against possible pain. Surrender is a leap into the dark with the faith that the ground will appear. And often, only by leaping will you see the path unfold beneath your feet. You've experienced this before, haven't you? That moment when everything seemed unclear and you just took a deep breath, chose to trust, and suddenly everything started to align. That's no coincidence. It's the universe's response to your act of faith. Surrender is the quiet yes you say first, and which the universe then reflects. But be careful. Surrendering doesn't mean becoming passive. It means acting with presence, but releasing control over the outcome. It means saying, "I trust that everything that is mine will find me, and everything that is not mine will teach me." This is the true prayer, simple, profound, sincere. And when you enter this state, the universe bows before your faith. Because faith isn't asking, hoping for something. It's living as if you've already received. Faith is purity, and the universe responds to vibration, not doubt. Perhaps all you need right now is to stop asking and start thanking, not because everything is perfect, but because you are at peace with what is. And this peace opens doors that despair could never touch. Your surrender is the most powerful sign of trust you can send, and the universe listens attentively to those who give themselves with their heart. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who is constantly trying to make life work and needs to remember that letting go is also a path. And write in the comments, "I trust my soul's timing." This could be the beginning of a new story. Because when you speak to the universe with clarity, listen with your heart, recognize the signs, embrace your shadow, and surrender with love, you're no longer trying to force a yes to happen. You become the yes itself, and everything around you begins to respond.